5 teams to watch, Northern League Division 1. Yes, hello everyone and welcome to the latest instalment of 5 teams to watch, and in this one we're going to be looking at Northern League Division 1. Now again, as I did in the Northern League Division 2 video, I will reiterate this is not in any way a predictions video because last year and the year before when I did these, there just did end up being one or two people that got completely the wrong idea. These videos are just a case of me sort of handpicking 5 teams from certain divisions and stating reasons why you maybe need to keep a bit of an eye on them throughout the course of this season. So in at number 5 for Northern League Division 1, I've gone for Crooktown, a side that have done well, particularly in cup competitions over the last couple of seasons or so, and maybe weren't a million miles away from the Northern League Division 1 playoffs last season. So I guess the big question for them this year is whether or not they can make that extra bit of a push to get in those top 5 positions. Of course, again, they'll want to do well in the cup competitions. I think over maybe the last couple of seasons or so, they have been one of the Northern League's best performing sides in the FA Vars in particular. Now, I know obviously we've not had a Northern League FA Vars finalist for a few years now, but I think they maybe do stand out as one of those sides that have maybe got the best, are one of our best chances of getting one of our sides into the Vars final. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how things go at Crook this season. As we said, we're well in the mix to finishing the playoffs, I think around February time, or maybe tailed off towards the end of the season. But can they make that push this season and get in that top 5? At number 4, I've gone for West Allotment Celtic, and it looks like it could be a bit of a difficult year ahead for West Allotment. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, they have left the East Palmersville Sports Pavilion. Why that is, I'm not entirely sure, but it seems as though they're going to be playing their home games at Morpeth Town for this coming season, and I think what's interesting in particular about that is obviously the Northern League fixtures did come out this morning, and it looks so their midweek night is going to be a Monday, interestingly enough, and obviously we're being Craig Park, Morpeth will take priority there, but how will they handle such a move? Will their attendances tail off? Will that ultimately prove to be a struggle for them, or will they embrace this change and maybe go out there and surprise a few people? I'm looking forward to seeing how their season unfolds, so that is why they are on this list. At number 3, I've gone for Shielden, always thereabouts within the Northern League, and they did have a 2-year stint in the Northern Premier League East Division, but going through some wholesale changes on the ground for this coming season. They have, I think, rips up their grass pitch and are putting down a 3G one, so it'll be interesting to see just how they adapt to that. Will Dean Street feel a little bit different? Obviously, we've not been to Dean Street yet on this channel, and I think we do need to change that at some point. So I'm interested to see how Shielden get on this year, particularly after yet again just falling short in the playoffs after a relatively successful league campaign. Can they make it third time lucky in the Northern League playoffs and go that one better? We will find out in due course, but a pretty safe pick for one of these types of videos is Shielden. So can they go on and have another season where they're right up there, and ultimately can they go one better this time? At number 2, I've gone for Newcastle Blue Star. It's no surprise that they've maybe made this list, a club that are quite notably on the rise. Funnily enough, they've actually lost 2 playoff finals on a bounce in 2 separate divisions. Obviously, they lost the Northern League Division 2 playoff final season before last, but were granted promotion anyway. Then last season made the most of maybe what was a little bit of a rub of the green for them, and managed to kick on yet again, and got into the Northern League Division 1 playoff final, where ultimately they were beaten by Blythe Town, but their attendances do speak for themselves. On a good day, they can draw in a four-figure crowd, and I think in any case, their average attendance anyway is one of, if not the best in the Northern League. So it's a project I think a lot of people are getting behind, especially within that part of Newcastle, of course. A bit of a yesteryear kind of name within non-league. Obviously, I think a club possibly under a previous guys that went by that name fell on difficult times, and all went a little bit Pete Tong, but obviously trying to get themselves back up the leagues now. Will be disappointed, obviously, having lost the playoff final at the end of last season, but can they put that right and go on better? And the number one, this one may come as a bit of a surprise to one or two of you, but there are definitely reasons behind it, and I've gone for Gisburn Town. Now, I think the appointment of Nathan Haslam as manager is an extremely good one. Overall, he did an absolutely tremendous job at Whitby, and obviously now has decided to take on the role at Gisburn. Obviously, he's got in Gary Forster as part of his management team as well, and the recruitment so far at Gisburn has been very, very good. Maybe a little bit disappointed with the way their overall season went last year. I thought going into last season, I thought they'd maybe push on and get into the playoffs, but obviously because the season before that they weren't a million miles off, and they maybe laid down a kind of brickwork a little bit the season before that, but just maybe tailed off a little bit last year. But I think that is, as we said, that was a very solid managerial appointment. I think he'll definitely get the best out of that team, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Gisburn are right up there in those top 5 positions. So yeah, I definitely think you've got to keep your eye out on Gisburn this season. I think they will be pretty strong and will be a tough nut to crack. But that is that for this video, and of course, as I mentioned earlier on, the Northern League fixtures have now come out, penciled in a couple of games early on in the season, but obviously not to plan too far ahead. Obviously there's still a few more fixture lists throughout various leagues to come out, but I'm sure the Northern League will end up playing a big part once again this coming season, and I'll be back on Monday with my 5 teams to watch in the Northern Premier League East Division. So until then, take care, cheers for watching, see you later.